Are men naturally polyamorous or polygamous? That is the question tonight. I know I am supposed to be uploading my live streams every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m., and I keep forgetting to live stream. My schedule is so crazy, it's all over the place. I apologize. So I try to live stream whenever I can. I decided to live stream right now because I have a bit of time to sit down and discuss something that I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about a lot of topics that I want to discuss via a live stream, and everyone is always asking me when I'm going to do my podcast, when you going to go back to podcasting, when you going to do blah blah blah. And I just, my time is so restricted right now. Number one, because my mother has breast cancer, so I have to take care of her, and then I have my 3-year-old son that I'm taking care of alone, and then I have work to do, and so much stuff is just going on. So it's very hard for me to keep up with the posts that I'm supposed to post on YouTube. If you see me posting all of the time on Instagram, on TikTok, it's easier because I could do like recording at one time. I can do like batch recording and do a whole bunch of TikToks in one day. But I can't do an hour long live stream all of the time. So instead of choosing to do an hour long live stream or a couple of podcasts that are 2 and 3 hours long, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do some batch recording for about 2 hours. And then that gives me content for the next 2 weeks. And I really need that. So TikTok is like my saving grace because I can and go on and do it right quick. And Reels. Reels is pretty good for me because I really just don't have time. So 1 minute videos, 2 minute videos, just getting my point across is actually more helpful because I think for so long on YouTube, I was doing live streams and I was doing videos that was extremely long. So it was hard for people to pick up on the message that I was trying to push, the positive message that I've always tried to push. So I look different to a lot of people now that they're listening to new content when I'm basically just repeating a lot of the stuff that I've been saying for years. And I'm just talking about men, whether I'm talking about men and women, relationships, whatever it is, God, I haven't really changed my narrative at all. Now, of course, I've outgrown a lot of the stuff that I used to say or a lot of stuff that I used to believe in. But for the core of what I've always been preaching and what I've always been saying is still the same. It's just I've been a little bit better at communicating it and reiterating it. So anyway, today I posted something on Instagram and it was about beauty. And the reason why I posted it is because one thing that I always see men send to me via messenger or text or whatever, because I put out my text. I've always put out my phone number for people to text me if they're looking for some advice. So if you want some advice or you want somebody to talk to, my number is 929-399-6503. You can text me there. It's text only. It's not like I answer, and we can verbally talk. I'm trying to set up something to where I can do that, but right now it's just via text. So if you have any like advice or you want to talk about something, you can text me right there. Okay. So anyway, um, a lot of men, right? Now remember, I used to be a dating coach. I was a dating coach for men for a long time. And then I started giving relationship advice to women this year. And the reason why I've decided to give relationship advice to women this year is because I started to notice that there became a balance in my audience. Before it used to be a lot of men and that's it. And now, like ever since I had my son, it's kind of balanced out. So it's 50-50. It's women and men watching me. So I decided to start giving women relationship advice as well. And instead of me just doing relationship advice, I want to give advice about God. Of course, I wish I could push my message about God some more, but not everybody is a religious person and not everybody believes in a source, you know. So it's just like I rather just talk about ways that you can have a fulfilling life. And one of the ways you can have a fulfilling life is if you have a source of power. You understand? Like if you believe in the universe or you believe in metaphysics or you have some kind of something, it doesn't have to be Christianity. It doesn't have to be Buddhism. It doesn't have to be what you see everybody else doing, just as long as you have some type of source of power. And I don't mean a negative source like liquor, weed, sex, what I'm saying? Nothing like that. And so I want to talk about God more and I want to talk about wealth more, but I noticed that a lot of the content that I post, especially on Instagram, it gets more likes and views if I'm talking about relationships and life issues instead of finances, because finances can get real complicated, especially when I'm starting to talk about cryptocurrency or NFTs or stuff like that. Like a lot of that is gets complicated, when I start talking about stock. So I've been leaving that topic alone because I don't know how to make it a little bit more like basic. I got to figure out a way to make it more basic. And a lot of people, when I wrote about basic things inside of my book, they felt some type of way about it. If you haven't checked out my book is called Owning Opulence, The Road to Becoming a Virtual Millionaire. And it talks about how I became a millionaire the first time and ran through that amount of money, and how I'm trying to become a millionaire again, and all of the principles that I had to apply to my life. And what actually made me broke, real broke, was messing around with the wrong person. Having multiple sources of income is important. And I post that all of the time on my Instagram. So make sure you follow me on Instagram when you can, all of my social media platforms, but make sure you follow me on Instagram at The Real Sauceray. And I post a lot of tips about wealth, God, business, love, all of it. So anyway, I was on Instagram and I posted this meme up, and it was basically because men always hit me up all of the time talking about how pretty I am. I get compliments all of the time, whether I have on a filter or I'm not wearing a filter, whether I'm wearing my hair straight, curly, whether I have on makeup or not. It doesn't matter. I'm always getting compliments about how beautiful I am. I've always got compliments like that. From as far back as I can remember, I've always had those compliments. And one of the things that men continue to say to me is, Sansaray, why are you single? Like, you're way too beautiful to be single. If you, like, one person told me, if I'd have moved out of Atlanta and moved back to Washington, D.C., where I'm originally from, I would have been married in my early 20s. But the fact that I was in Atlanta, a lot of the men in Atlanta weren't good for me to marry. A lot of men from home tell me that. A lot of men that have known me since high school or middle school, or who have, went to college with me, a lot of them said to me, if you went back to PG County instead of staying in Atlanta for 17 years, you probably would have gotten married long before. They say to me all of the time, you're too beautiful to be single. And my thing is, like, beauty to me doesn't keep men. Like, when men say it to me, it has always shocked me when I've heard that. Like, me being beautiful is not stopping a man from cheating on a woman, on me. Like, I've been beautiful all of my life. Of course, I have like ugly phases, but like everybody else, I mean, I'm human. I'm not perfect, and plus, it's beautiful women out there who are way more beautiful than me. That's a real thing. But I never in a million years thought that, like, beauty would be the thing that keep men. I never thought that. So when men say it to me, it's like, why do men say that to me? When they know damn well that beauty never keeps a man inside of a relationship. And if it did, if beauty was a factor for men, beautiful women wouldn't be single, and beautiful women wouldn't be cheated on. Period. So that's what I posted on the side of my Instagram. And then I took that same post and put it on Facebook, and a man came into my comment section and said that men are naturally polygamous, and beauty has nothing to do with whether or not a man cheats, because men are naturally just polygamous, right? And this struck me as odd because I don't like when men generalize men because they themselves have a wayward penis. You know what I'm saying? Like, if your phallus is all over the place and you community pipe, of course you're going to think every other man is the same. And honestly, society has made it seem like the quote unquote alpha male is the male who is promiscuous, is the man who's jumping from woman to woman. And men usually make men who do that, like, you guys celebrate men who jump around and sleep around all the time. I don't know why y'all would do that, because that's like dangerous. Number one, you could have too many babies spread all over the damn earth. You could have STDs and all types of stuff if you go sleeping around all of the time. Your phallus is just dirty after that. Now, then again, I'm not going to be judgmental of other people. Like, I'm not saying that promiscuity makes a person bad. It's just, why do men celebrate that in men but don't celebrate that in women? I'll never understand that double standard. To me, it's like men who possess that type of double standard or that type of thought process, they are more comfortable with having sex to a woman instead of with a woman. Like the concept of having sex with a woman in a man's mind who it has that double standard thought process, it's comfortable in their mind to have sex to a woman, not with one. You know what I mean? It's just, I can't explain it any further than that right now. So anyway, I never really thought that men were like naturally promiscuous. I think people just like enjoy, intercourse. I think that's one of those things that just people enjoy, not just men, but just women in general. And it's dangerous for all parties involved. And I think society or just men have been raised to be with multiple women. However, there are men out there, and I'm not, and I can tell, okay? I'm gonna keep it a buck. I can tell that it's men out there who are completely fine with being monogamous. It is too many men out here complaining about women every day, all day on social media, complaining about being cheated on, complaining about being misused, complaining about women begging them for money too much, complaining about all types of stuff that got to do with women. If they didn't care about monogamy, these wouldn't be things that they would complain about. Men complain about these things for a reason, right? And it's unfortunate that men don't get listened to a lot. And I think women don't listen to y'all complaining because it's so like crass and disrespectful when you say it. Like it's hard to swallow something when you're being disrespectful or mean. Like I can see a lot of like men expressing themselves about women in a healthy manner and they're still saying something negative or speaking the truth about women, and it's easier to like listen to them on an intellectual level. But there are a lot of men, especially on YouTube, who post content and it's only posted to disrespect women. So how do you expect women to listen to you as a content creator and change their ways or improve who they are as a woman if you are flat out just being disrespectful and hurtful towards them? Like no woman is going to want to change for a man who, behaves that in that way. And regardless to how disrespectful some women act, it's easy to tame a woman if you yourself are extremely calm. Like for example, I'll give you an example. Lauren London was talking about her and Nipsey Hussle, and in this post, she was talking about how no matter how many times she was like out of pocket with him, like even accidentally, she was basically out of pocket with him. He never snapped back at her and was like extremely calm and understanding and compassionate and put her in her place from a perspective of a patient alpha male type of situation. You know what I mean? So I think, like I've said in plenty of other live streams and in plenty of other videos, alpha males this alpha males de-escalate situations. They don't see a woman out of pocket and then disrespect her back. Usually they either leave the room, don't deal with her anymore, or listen to what she's saying and try to express to her that it's a better way to communicate. Like you got to set your boundaries as a man. Like, listen, if you want to communicate with me, you have to speak to me in XYZ way, or the conversation is just not going to fly. You know what I mean? That's to me, that's more alpha than what I've seen a lot of men doing. Like a lot of men just lose their cool too often when they're speaking to women. And it's not becoming of a true man. It's not part of your manhood to be disrespectful to a woman. If you have critical thinking skills and leadership skills, part of your leadership skills and being able to lead women into submission, it requires you to have a level of patience. You have to be able to listen. You have to have a level of compassion for women. And a lot of men feel like, well, if she's not showing me that, I can't show her that in return. My thing is, your style is your style is your style. Like if you're a good man, you're just gonna be a good man, regardless to whether you are in the presence of a woman who is or isn't. Whether she's a good woman or not is not a reflection on what kind of man you are. So if you're a strong man, you're just a strong man. That's just it. You're not gonna like not be a strong man simply because you see a weak bitch saying it from front of you. Just that's not how you're supposed to do stuff. Matching people's energy isn't always the right thing to do all the time. And so anyway, when earlier today when I posted what I posted and a guy came into my comment section and he said that men are naturally uh polygamous. I just was like, I refuse to believe that men just naturally are born that way. I have a son. My son is 3. My son don't know nothing about polyamorous or polygamous relationships. He doesn't know about heterosexuality or bisexuality. He doesn't know about any of that. What people are born with is hunger and desire. That's it. Desire for things. He desires toys right now. He desires fruit snacks. He's not over here thinking about, he wasn't naturally born to be with a whole bunch of women. That's something that men were taught. And it's funny to me how a man could say that men are naturally polygamous, but then when we start talking about like homosexuality, oh no, that's a choice. Men aren't born that way. They're choosing to be homosexual. Like that's more frowned upon. Being promiscuous in that way is more frowned upon than it is if you are, being community pipe. And that's weird to me because on all levels, it's people exploring their sexuality, right? So I just don't understand why it's in the eyes of men, right? The definition of what manhood is to a lot of black men is so toxic and so negative and so only beneficial to them and not everybody around them. It makes it difficult to be with men who have that thought process. Whether these men are homosexual or heterosexual or poly or monogamous, it doesn't matter. It makes you difficult to be around when you have that thought process. Like nobody wants to be with someone who is always critical and judgmental of them all of the time, especially when we're talking about the relationships that women have had before they had a relationship with you. Like a lot of men like to count bodies, oh, she been with 300 men, she been with 3 men, she been with 25 men, she been with X, Y, and Z, but then they don't factor in their own whole facts. You know what I'm saying? Like they whole facts, like they spread themselves so thin it be a debris of just heartbreak behind them of women they just screwed over. And then suddenly when they decide that they want to settle down, it's like, okay, I deserve a virgin, like beautiful, youthful woman, even though their balls are wrinkly and they done ran through every woman within a 25-mile radius of their house. And it's just like, homie, you gotta be what you asking for. Like if you want a virgin, be a virgin. But then they're like, oh no, then that's when they throw the double standard in there. Like, you expect me to be a virgin even though I want a virgin? Yeah. But that's just crazy. We can't ask a man to do some shit like that. That's just utterly ridiculous. No, you if you become what you want, it's easier for you to get it. And a lot of times a man will think he ready for something, think he man enough to handle something, and then when he gets it, he doesn't even realize how much baggage he has and needs to get rid of in order to be beneficial for a woman. Like a lot of men don't even factor in whether they are even husband material. And then when a woman files for divorce, they want to get on this red pill tip. Like, oh, women usually file for divorce and they're horrible because they file for divorce first. No, you're just a terrible husband. You were a terrible husband. You were a terrible boyfriend, and you do nothing about how to interact with a woman emotionally, how to communicate with a woman with respect. And then you wonder why a woman broke up with you or divorced you. That's just crazy to me. Speaking of divorce and breakup, so there's this other post that I saw on Facebook by my girl Juju. My girl Juju posted this story, this guy, and he was talking about how he had a couple of kids with this lady and he owns like this landscaping business. And when the landscaping business was having like a slow year, he would just work like 112 hours a week. I can't even work 112. That's a lot of goddamn hours. That's like never sleep. Like how many hours are actually in a week? Anyway, I think it was 112. It was 3 digits. I was like, wait, is that many goddamn hours in a fucking week? Like, Jesus. Anyway, he was saying basically that he was working his ass off to kind of break even. And every time he would work his ass off and money was low, she would go out and cheat on him and be with other men while he was, working because he wasn't paying attention to her and he wasn't taking care of home, like financially. So they was like struggling. So she would use her free time to cheat on him, and she would go out of town and claim that she was going to visit one of her kids in college, but then she would go and get a hotel and sleep with another man. And I was just like, okay. So I'm reading all the juju comments. Inside the comments, people like, they've been married for 12 years, and when someone cheats on you, that shouldn't be a deal breaker and all this shit. And I'm thinking to myself, wait, y'all making excuses for this woman cheating on this man. But if it was the other way around, y'all would flat out just tell this woman to leave this man. So why isn't it the same? This goes back to the double standards I was saying. Like, it's okay for a man to be cheated on because typically, women don't cheat. So if a woman is cheating on her husband, then something must be wrong with him, right? But if it's the other way around, women are taught, well, they should leave their man. Like, other women will say, hey, you should leave your man. I think men are more like, stay with your man after, he cheats, and that should be a deal breaker. But it should be. It should be, because part of your arrangement, if you two agree to be inside of a monogamous situation, it doesn't make any goddamn sense for you to suddenly just decide to be poly or decide to cheat. Cheating and polyamory is not the same thing. Cheating requires you to have to lie and manipulate someone. Okay? Polyamory or polygamy, on the other hand, is everybody involved knows what's going on. So if you are a husband and you have a wife, your wife knows exactly what you're doing when you out here in these streets with your side chick. She probably know your side chick first name. Her and your side chick could get on the phone, have a nice little chit chat, go out to eat sometimes, maybe grab a few drinks. That's poly. That other stuff y'all talking about, that promiscuity where you got to hide your side chick, you got to hide what you doing, make sure your wife don't find out. You over here like going to off the wall places, you can't go outside or take your chick out on a date because you don't want your wife or your wife's friends to see you out with another chick. That's not poly. That is cheating. Okay, it's different. It's a difference. So to me, it's like, when men, I don't think that men naturally want to be promiscuous, and I don't think women naturally want to be, promiscuous. And if they do, like, say for instance, you do, maybe you like multiple partners, maybe you're naturally poly, and that's what the man was saying in the post, that once he found out that his wife was cheating and he confronted her about it, she basically was on some I'm gonna keep doing it type of vibe. So everyone's like, well, you should stay with her. And I'm thinking to myself, if she don't have any remorse, if she feels completely fine with sleeping around with a whole bunch of men, number one, she lied to you about it all of this time. Like, it's been 12 years. She's lied about it all of this time. Why would you still want to be with somebody that you can't even trust, or that don't even trust you enough to be able to tell you what's really going on with them? And they don't even have enough respect for you to even speak up, right? Why would you want to be with someone who would be like that? That's number one. Number two, if you are capable of having a polyamorous relationship with someone, fine, stay in the marriage. They're gonna sleep around with other people, be okay with it. Find your happiness, do whatever. But if the agreement was to be monogamous and this person was never fulfilling part of their agreement, why would you want to stay with them? They don't even respect you enough to stand on their own word. Why would you want to be with them? So I said, this man should divorce this woman. And other people like, no, they've been together 12 years. They have 3 kids and they should do blah, blah. I said, no, this man needs to divorce this woman because apparently she doesn't have any respect for him. Because let's just say, for instance, I'm going to give you an example for me. Say, for instance, for me, this is what I would do if I was married. All right. So if I was married, been married to my husband owns a landscaping company. He's always making money. I don't really work or anything because he's taking care of everything. Then suddenly he has a bad year. Okay, he's struggling financially. He can't pay for anything, or he barely able to juggle anything. The last thing I'm going to do is go out there and sleep with another man. If anything, my ass is going to use my free time to get like some type of part-time job or to bring some type of money in, because still at the end of the day, I have to take care of my environment because my children are in it. So if my environment is unstable because my husband can't handle it right now because he's having a bad fiscal year, That means I need to kick in as a wife, as a co-founder, as a goddamn vice president, something, and help him with the finances. And this is why I tell women all of the time, like these affluent men and these business owners and these men that, seem like they have money, there's going to be a time that money dries out. Because at some point these men retire. At some point these men aren't working anymore, or maybe the stocks that they invested in dropped, or something happens to where they don't make as much money as they used to. What are you going to do as a woman if the only reason why you married a man is for his money? Men have to stop coming to women on some you don't have to work type of shit. All you need to do is have my kids and that's it. Men have to stop saying that, because you never know what the future holds. You yourself could get sick, or you yourself could pass away. What's his name? Young Dolph. Young Dolph just passed away randomly because somebody shot him when he went to go get some damn cookies. And this man actually did well for himself. Like, he had, I don't know if he was married, but I know he had 3 children. And I know that he had a woman that he had these 3 children with. Now, I don't know if he had children outside of that, but I do know the main focus was the woman that he was with. And I don't know if she was his wife or his girlfriend, but they had 3 children. Okay. And this man was so smart that for his kid's birthday, he bought them properties for his children's birthdays. So I think amongst all 3 of his children, totally, they have at least 23 properties. And out of those 23 properties, those are sources of income right there, if you rent those properties out. So his children, he was building generational wealth at the same time. And a lot of men do not think like that. A lot of men are not walking around here thinking like that, whether they're business owners or not. A lot of men are not thinking, okay, what happens to me if I pass away? What's going to happen to my children? What's going to happen to my wife? What's going to happen to my girlfriend or my baby mama? If something happens to me, what's going to happen to my children? So you have to start attaching yourself to women who actually know how to run a household, or know how to run a business, or know how to go out there and fend for themselves. Because a lot of women, if you die or leave them alone, choose a better woman, or decide to divorce them, they just walking around here lost, don't know what to do with themselves, sitting there broke, not knowing what to do with their 2 or 3 children that they done had with you. So I tell women all the time, secure your own bag. And a lot of these hypergamy chicks be looking at me sideways. They don't even understand why I'm saying it. They think I'm being a pick me by saying, stop using men for money, go out there and get your own money. Or if you're going to be with these men, put some of this money to the side, go buy some stock or something, because something could happen to him. You never know how life happens. Life just happens suddenly. These men could get sick. These men could fall off the face of the earth. They could disappear. Somebody could murder them. You never know what's going on. So you got to be prepared for a man's disappearance. And when I say that, people are like, you just being negative. You just bitter. You hit the wall and all this weird shit. And it's like, no, that's not it. It's, you have to be realistic. People do not live forever. Sometimes people come into your life and they expire, meaning they die, they pass away, they divorce you, they leave, they change. A whole bunch of things happening in life. Like, and a lot of people think so much about today, they forget to plan for the future. They forget that sometimes people in your life and they're going to expire. Sometimes their chapter in your book is just that one chapter, or the first 5 chapters. Sometimes you move into the next level and you got to leave some people behind you, not because you changed as a person, but because they haven't changed. Or they are comfortable with you being at one level and you are ready to move up to another level, and they're not ready to come with you. It's a number of reasons, so it's just like I tell people to prepare yourself for a divorce, for a breakup, for your partner to pass away. That's what life insurance is. That's what health insurance is. That's what car insurance is for. If something happened to your car, and a lot of women feel like if they marry rich men, that's enough insurance. No, because a lot of times the benefits that come from your husband divorcing you, a lot of times alimony and child support are equally like not enough money for you to survive off of. A lot of people try to make single mothers feel bad about filing child support, but then they clap for alimony when really alimony and child support is similar because you can't really just live off of it. Maybe one day and age back, maybe 20, 30 years ago, you could live off of alimony. But nowadays, these judges are not playing. These judges are realizing the unfairness inside of the system. So these women, and I'm telling you, all you got to do is get on YouTube and you'll see the clips of a lot of these paternity court judges. There's just one paternity court judge. She don't be playing, man. Like when people come into her courtroom and they are trying to like moderate like child support or like change it from what it was, she she be playing fair. Like seriously, she be making these mothers pay child support. It's women that would come on to her into her courtroom and was just living off of child support, ain't had no goddamn job, and they was just living off child support. And then she had like other mothers coming there who were financially stable but wasn't taking care of their kids at all financially, and was just relying on the father's income to take care of the kids. And it was fathers, it's like fathers are coming there, they take care of their children alone, and they're bringing the mothers to damn court for child support. So it's not the way that it used to be. Like alimony is not enough to survive off of. Child support is not enough to survive off of. Not anymore. So these judges are really just not playing. So I think a lot of men need to be more selective about the women that they choose to date. Stop dating women because of how they look. Because looks looks are a temporary thing. Beauty is temporary, outside beauty. Inside beauty is better, but you're not going to find out who a woman is on the inside until later on. You got to, it's layers. Like you got to get to know these women because there's plenty of women. And I said this in the other video recently. It's plenty of women. Yeah, they're going to come on these dates with wigs on, eyelashes on, makeup on, butt lift, waist trainers, all types of stuff to make them look what they think you want in a woman. And they're going to try to hit you with I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this to get the attention of a man. But it's bullshit. Okay, I'm just letting you know right now, like there's one thing to make yourself look beautiful so you can feel confident in yourself, and then there's another thing that we do where we get dressed up to be appealing to men. Do not let a woman try to make it seem like everything that she's doing with her physical appearance just got something to do with her. No, a lot of times when women are overdoing it with all of this beauty stuff, it's so they can attract more men because they want the attention, especially when we're talking about these butt lifts, these BBLs and shit. That is not for them to look in the mirror and just be confident in themselves for them. That is for them to be beautiful or appealing to a man. Okay, so when they feed you the bullshit of I'm just doing this for me, now that's bullshit. I made a TikTok where I was telling women you need to, when you go on first dates with men, you have to stop catfishing the men. You have to go on these dates without your makeup on, without your wig on, without all of that stuff, because you look like a transsexual to them. Right? You look like a tranny. Now, the reason why I say that is because I'm watching men all day long complain about that. And I tell men, I tell women, these men find you attractive sexually, but when it comes time for them to be in a relationship, 9 times out of 10, or to be in a marriage, 9 times out of 10, they gonna be with the plain Jane. They're not gonna be with the one who is wrapped up in all of this stuff that you got on. And I noticed a lot of the women who are in solid relationships with good men, these women are naturally like beautiful inside and out, and they can take all of that makeup and the hair and all that stuff off and still naturally be appealing. And a lot of women don't know how to be that because they're the makeup and the hair and all of the fancy jewelry and the damn high-end shoes and purses are there to cover up that nasty ass attitude or that insecurity underneath that they have. And I think a lot of them don't realize that in the long term, men are going to see those things. And that's the reason why a lot of men leave the relationships that they're in. Now, I don't condone a man just deciding just randomly, that he no longer wants to be with a woman after he don't wasted so much of her time. Because I feel like men kind of know from the beginning. Like, when you go on a date and you see a chick looking like a tranny, whether you want to keep dating her or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all know. It don't take skill, but I think a lot of times men do the same thing women do, where y'all give women the benefit of the doubt. Like, you'll know something is wrong with her. You'll know you don't want to kick it, but you'll keep kicking it with her anyway because I don't know, you're bored, you're lonely, you want some ass. You know, it could be a number of things, but you know, you genuinely would never make that woman your woman, or you never would make that woman your wife, but yeah, you still kick it with her. Why? Why waste time? Like for what? Like what's the point in that? Like I'll never get that because men waste their own time with that shit. Because I'm telling you flat out, like, well, I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience. I definitely don't now. But when I was like younger and I was dating, men was not making it past like the second date. They was not even making it. Some of them weren't making it past. Listen, most of the men who took me out on a date, they didn't make it past the first date. And to even get to the second one, I had to be like hella impressed intellectually. Like it wasn't nothing about their money. I could have been physically attracted to them, but they wouldn't make it to the third date because of something maybe they wasn't consistent, or maybe intellectual conversation wasn't there, they wasn't doing it for me. Like intellectually, I'm big on being intellectually connected to a man. Like I'm a sapiosexual, I'm a demisexual, and I'm sapiosexual, right? I am attracted to men who are intellectually on point. Like that shit is so sexy. I don't know why. I don't know why. I was telling another guy on Facebook the other day that my damn celebrity crush is Jesse Eisenberg. And he was like, what? Like Jesse, when I tell people my celebrity crush is Jesse Eisenberg, they're like, that don't go. You know what I mean? Like, how does that even fucking go together? You know? Because a lot of people don't even know who Jesse. Look, Jesse Eisenberg. Let me tell you who Jesse Eisenberg is. Jesse Eisenberg is the guy who played Mark Zuckerberg in The Social Network. He played Lex Luthor on Superman. Isn't that weird? That's my celebrity crush. Anyway, my daughter makes fun of me about that. Anyway, so listen. So as a man, I think you guys need to be a little bit more selective about who you choose to be with. Okay? Y'all got to let go of clinging on to women with fat asses. Y'all got to let go of clinging on to women who um are light skinned. You got to let go of clinging on to women who basically she's what, 125, 130. You're looking at her weight and thinking, "Oh, how much she weigh is going to be appealing to you." Now, I know you want to be physically attracted to a woman, but I can tell you like this: every beautiful woman you see that has a husband or a boyfriend, there is a man attached to her that is about sick of her ass, and that includes like Queen Naja, like Queen Naja, all the shit, Beyonce and Jay Z. Jay Z gets sick of Beyonce. You know, like he got sick of her. I remember him talking about how she was playing what's that lady in Cadillac Records? What's that lady name she was playing? Anyway, that lady had a nasty attitude. And Beyonce was playing her character. And Beyonce was coming home with that nasty attitude, and JC was not feeling that shit. Like she would just naturally be in like character after she been acting so much. She'd come home and Etta James. That's who Beyonce was playing. Beyonce was playing Etta James, and we know Etta James got like a little nasty attitude. Jay Z was not feeling that shit. He was like, "Nigga, I need my wife back over here." So you have to understand that for every beautiful woman out there is a flaw with her in some kind of way. There is a flaw there. You know, so beauty to me, I feel like men don't really care about beauty as they think they are. Like I hear people say men are visual creatures, and I agree, men are visual creatures. However, y'all don't care about looks as much as you think you care about looks, because if you cared about looks as much as you think you cared about looks, beautiful women would not be single, and beautiful women would not be cheated on. Okay, so y'all don't really care about it after a certain point. I think it's maybe intriguing initially, and then maybe when you want to have sex. But when it comes to the real part of the relationship, and what needs to happen inside of it for you to be an amazing husband, amazing father, or for you to be the proper behavior to be evoked out of you from a woman, I think women have somewhat control over that, but not to the extent of like we can get y'all to change your overall behavior. I think at the end of the day, men do what they want to do. You know, you guys, we can influence y'all to a certain degree. You know, like we could be kind and be your peace and be, I tell men all the time, if you date me, I'm your pleasure, your paradise, and your peace. That's all I am in a relationship. I don't play like in relationships, I'm real calm. I really don't like to argue because I spend a lot of my time arguing in my early 20s because I was in a lot of abusive relationships. So as I've gotten older, it's been like, nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like anytime I see a man that could possibly make me angry or I could possibly he could possibly hurt me, I don't even bother with that. I don't bother with men I'm not compatible with. And I feel like when you consistently arguing with somebody, you're not compatible with them. So you have to ask people questions beforehand before you even get in a relationship with them. You have to ask them questions like, number one, what's your belief system like? Number two, what is a relationship mean to you? Like what is required inside of a relationship to you? What do you need as a man? Or what do you need as a woman in order to be inside of a relationship with somebody? And what are you willing to offer somebody? That needs to be a conversation beforehand. Because you don't want to not talk about that and then let chemistry and shit be the reason why y'all together. And then later on, y'all starting to argue about shit y'all should have talked about on the date. Because if you'd have talked about it on the date, it would have been a deal breaker then. But now you're stuck inside of a relationship with somebody, and y'all didn't have the conversations about what it really means to be of value to each other. People skip that conversation and then the arguments come later on. You feels me? So I just feel like people need to be more responsible when it comes to choosing the right person to be with. A lot of people make a mistake in that department. Okay. Now, also, financial literacy. Financial literacy is important. Being broke looks like shit on both genders. Being broke is not attractive on both genders. Okay. And honestly, I feel like if you're going to be in a marriage or relationship with somebody, you have to at some point realize that it's not always going to be 50-50. Sometimes it's going to be off. Okay. Sometimes it's going to be 50-30. And then that 10, that 20% is going to be missing, you know? Into you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be off. Sometimes someone's gonna be given 60 and the other's gonna be given 50. Sometimes somebody's gonna be given 75 and the other one's gonna be given 25. That's how the cycles of relationships go, and you have to be okay with that. And a lot of people aren't okay with that. And I think I honestly feel like that was part of the reason why my relationship ended with my son's father, because I think at some point after we was going 50-50 on everything. And I think I tell women to this day, don't go on 50-50 on everything with men from the beginning. Like in the beginning stages, don't do that. Make a man earn for you to start investing in him in that way. And I said this on somebody's Instagram the other day. He's a dating coach on Instagram. And he was saying to women that women should start paying, like a man, let a man pay for the first date, and then a woman should pay for the second date, and then the man pay for a third date, that she should pay for the fourth date or go half. I don't think that women should do that. I think that women should make men earn women doing that, because honestly I feel like most of the men that I've invested in financially did not appreciate that. And this goes back to my son's father. Like I didn't have to go 50-50 with him, because according to society and every other relationship expert or whatever the fuck, men are supposed to take care of everything financially. So the fact that I came into my last relationship on some we can handle this together on some 50-50 shit, like we could just pay for the date, like we just go half on dates all of the time, I think he didn't appreciate that. And honestly, when it came time for me to need him to like kick into gear and pay for stuff because I couldn't work, instead of him being compassionate about me not being able to work because I had a condition, like I was in a high risk pregnancy, and I was like not able to work. So it was just like that's when he was supposed to kick into gear. And the most. And instead of him doing that, he didn't have any compassion for me. It was just, oh, you need to still bring your 50-50. Even though you pregnant, even though you sick, even though you in a high risk pregnancy, you still need to be able to bring 50-50. And that's bullshit to me, because I'm sick. And if the shoe was on the other foot to where maybe he couldn't work, or there was something that he needed to do, that made it to where he needed to work on his dreams or something like that, or maybe if he decided to go to college or something like that. Once I decided to be in that relationship, it was up to me to commit to it in a way to where, oh, okay, I'll help you out. Like when he needed money for like lunch to go to work, I would give him money. Whatever he needed money for, I was just there for him. So to just feel like I wasn't getting that back in return, it says a lot about how dude was. So what I'm saying is, inside of relationships, when you are dating someone, you really have to question where they are, what financial literacy is to them, and what would they do with their money. And in the event that something happened to you and you couldn't take care of yourself, what would they do? These are things that you need to figure out. And as a man, or a woman, these are important things. And again, to me, broke look bad on both party. So you would need to also prepare yourself in the event that you get sick. You have to have stocks and have, residual money there, money that you make while you're sleeping. Money that you make. That's basically all YouTube is. Like, I get a YouTube check, a TikTok check, an Instagram check, an Amazon check, a Facebook check, a Google check. That's a lot of different checks, y'all. That's multiple sources of income, and I own a design company. So think about that, Think about me just as a woman, just by myself, all of those sources of income. As a person who, if I was to say, for instance, if I was to get rid of my business company, right? Let's say my business company, my bad, my graphic design business. Let's say I decided to no longer do graphic design ever again. I still have all of those other checks coming in. That's the type of lifestyle that I want. And I learned the hard way that I needed way more sources of income than I had before. And that I couldn't get rid of sources of income for a man, because he made me get rid of sources of income, but he didn't supplement those incomes. So when you out here, fellas, especially when you out here, you're dating these women, ask them about financial literacy. Ask them, do they know anything about NFTs? Ask them, do they know about cryptocurrency? Ask them, do they have a checking account? Because some chicks don't even have a checking account. Ask them, how do they transfer money outside of Cash App? Because not everybody using Cash App. You know, like people who got real money, we're not using Cash App. Like Cash App is so. I mean, I know some people with wealth that are using Cash App to toss a couple of $100 here and there, but I mean, it's rare that you get like people are tossing like over $20,000 on Cash App. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm dealing with people with money, the last thing that they saying is, "I'm gonna transfer this via Cash App." If any, they might use Venmo or maybe, but usually it's just deposit this in my account, go to the bank and deposit this. You know what I mean? It's never, I don't know, it's just different. So anyway, cashier check maybe. So anyway, I really feel like financial literacy is very important, because broke fucks up a relationship. Money is the number one thing that people argue about all the time inside of relationships. So you got to make sure you have it. You got to make sure your woman have it. Ladies, of course, you want your man to have money. That makes sense. Everybody want their man to have money. But when you are broke, basically, expecting a man to have money, you're not holding yourself to the same standard that you're holding men. Resting in your femininity doesn't mean go drain some dude financially like he's your father. Treating these men like they're your father is not big girl. You got to put your big girl panties on, sis. You know what I mean? That is not how you get shit done. Real woman shit is going out there getting your education. And there's too many men out here telling women that their femininity isn't rest in their education and in their money, when really it is. Like, you have to stop teaching women that it's okay to be dumb and broke. And I think, for the most part, I think the reason why men are telling women that their femininity is damaged when they focus on their career or their money or their education is because nowadays men have to actually try to get a woman's love and attention. Because before, we didn't have any control over that because we couldn't make the money. We needed to be with you. We needed to be with men we didn't want to be with in order to survive because we couldn't have the careers that y'all could. We couldn't do the things that y'all could. Now we can literally sprint past you on the track. Like we can literally, before we couldn't do that. So now that things have changed, men have to evolve. The modern man has to evolve. You have to say, okay, now things are different. Women are out here making their own money now. So now it has to be a requirement. Now, at least require a woman to have her own job and her own source of income. Before, you didn't have to require that because, we couldn't really do that. Now we can. And it doesn't mean that a woman, just because she's making her own money, means she disrespects you. Nah, I think men are just scared. They are scared that women no longer need them for that. And now they have to actually have a decent character, be honest about who they are, not lying about how many women they're sleeping with, not having side babies and 3 and 4 different families all over the United States because that's what they seen their grandpappy and they father do. Just because your father got away with having 2 different families, one in Florida and another in California, and you saw him juggle 2 families, doesn't mean that that's what he's supposed to do or was supposed to do. It may seem normal to you, but that was always wrong. That was always wrong. And another thing about men being the sole providers, men are not supposed to be providers. Men are supposed to be maintainers of a lifestyle women that have already created for themselves. Okay, money attracts more money. So women need to go out there, get the luxury lifestyle that they want, and then they'll be able to find a man who match them on their level. I hate that it's so many men out there that tell women who are successful that they'll never be able to find a man. No, they just need to travel more and get out more because there's 7 billion people on this planet. Every woman can find a man and every man can find a woman. We're not in shortage of people. It's more than enough people on this planet. You just have to get outside of that box. You have to get outside of that box. But yeah, so I think what men are feeling uncomfortable with is the fact that women can go out there and do what they need to do, and it definitely needs to be a requirement. You need to require that women go out there and do what they need to do, and it doesn't make a woman any less of a woman or any less feminine if she cares about her money and her education. Caring about your money and your education is part of self-care, and part of femininity is investing in your self-care. So you don't need to be around here dumb and broke. Dumb and broke is no longer, that is not trending, that is not appealing, that is not, I don't know why some dating coaches are teaching men that men should pay for everything. And the problem with men paying for everything is that their work schedule is so ridiculous that they don't get to spend time with their family, so it's putting strain on their relationship with their children. When you both are bringing in sources of income, it gives the person who works the most time to rest, time to spend time with their family. Men men are so distant from their children because a lot of times they're working so much they don't get to spend time with their children. And that's one thing that me and my daughter's father always had the ability to like balance out because he wasn't working so much to where he was just straining himself to where he was never around. He never did that. He was always there for my daughter. Listen, and if he couldn't, I was there, but it was rare that he couldn't. He was at every dance recital. He was at every parent teacher conference. He was at every damn doctor's appointment. He was always there. But a lot of times these affluent men or these men who have businesses and are working all of the time, they never have time to nurture the relationships that they should be having with their children. If they are dating women who are also working, they are able to take off sometimes because men are working, 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 work because they want to bring in all of this bread. But if they don't have to bring in all the bread by themselves, they'll be able to rest. And nobody is no good if they don't get any rest. I'm telling you right now, my life is so complicated and hard right now because I'm doing everything alone. And it's not just about my son, but again, like I said at the beginning of the live stream, my mother has cancer. So that's like putting a lot of strain on me because I have to take care of her as well. And I don't know if y'all know what comes with someone having cancer. But you got chemotherapy, physical therapy, medications, all types of stuff. She feels bad all the time. And then her attitude is different. She has cancer attitude. I don't know if you know what cancer attitude is, but I'm telling you, it's shitty. Okay? Like, I be looking at her like, you are mean as shit. And of course, it makes sense for somebody to be mean when they don't feel good. Sometimes people, like, you seen people be in different phases when they don't feel good. Sometimes they want to go to sleep and they don't talk at all. Like, that's me. When I don't feel good, I don't talk at all. I don't get mean. I just don't say nothing. Like, I just go to sleep, or I'm that type of person. But it's people out there when they not feeling good, they mean. You hear me? Like, that's a lot of people are mean as hell when they're sick. So that's my mom. So it's just like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Jesus Christ. And then I can't leave my son with her. You know what I mean? Because sometimes she mean to my son. So it's just like there's so much going on. And that sometimes I be thinking in the back of my head, I wish Priest was here. I wish Priest had a relationship with my son. Because if he had a relationship with my son, anytime I need rest, I can just take my son over to his father's house. So I can go to sleep. At least give me a solid 8 hours in. But I can't because this man just decided randomly that he wanted to be for the streets. Like, that's why I'm telling y'all, be careful about who you choose to be in a relationship with, who you choose to have children with, whether you're male or female, and always question where they are as far as spiritually, as far as mentally, and as far as their finances. Because those are the three things that are going to be the most fucking important when it comes time for the challenges inside of your relationship. Because those three things are the three things that are going to be harmed the most or are going to be more powerful. And you got to know who you're dealing with. You get to see who you're dealing with when the challenges come. At first, the relationships that you get in and the marriages that you get in, they all have a honeymoon phase. They all have it. So date somebody through all seasons. Don't just date somebody springtime, summertime, or just date them fall and the wintertime and then put yourself in a committed relationship with them. No, date them for a whole year. I promise you, date them for a whole year. Date them through all seasons so you can see what type of person they are. Because too many people will fake the funk for 2 months, 3 months, maybe even 6 months. But make them go through that process. And I know a lot of people be like, chemistry. Chemistry is not real. Chemistry, if you feel butterflies when you meet somebody, that's your body telling you you might want to fall back. So listen to it. Tell it, listen, don't rush towards it when you feel butterflies. Step back and look at what you're doing and slow it down. And when people talk about slowing relationships down, right? And that relationship should be at a certain speed. It's not up to the rest of the world to determine that speed. But at the beginning stages, you got to get to know people from the beginning. You got to get to know them before you do the soul tie, before you have sex with them, before. And I've always been the type of person, I build friendships first. I'm the type of person, if I'm going to date you, I build a friendship first. And even with me building the friendship first and taking my time, I've still been paired with the wrong man before. Even with me building a friendship with them first. I can list every single relationship I've been in. First relationship I was in a relationship with this guy named Free. When I first moved to Atlanta, I got into a relationship with this guy named Free. He was from Jamaica. Me and him was friends first before we started dating. We talked, like, before we even went on a first date, we talked on the phone for like 3 months every day before we went on a date. Okay? He ended up being abusive our second year in a relationship. Our first year was great. Second year, he became abusive. Okay? That's strange, but that's what happened. Okay? Guy I got into a relationship after that, his name was Courage. Me and Courage was friends. He was a photographer. Me and him was friends before we started dating. We started dating. He became abusive maybe 6 months in. Think about this. After him, I dated this guy named Lloyd. Me and Lloyd was friends for 5 years before we started dating seriously. 5 years we were friends. before we started dating seriously. And this nigga smashed my head up against the window of my car because I was asking his ass to get out. He wouldn't get out. I called him cheating. And he got in my car and wouldn't get out of my car. Smashed my head up against the window after I slapped him and told him to get out. I was begging him to get out. I was like, if you don't get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. He wouldn't. And finally, I just get fed up, slap the shit out of him, and he takes his hand and mushes it into the window. I was like, Lord. Like, and ever since then, and I've dated guys in between. Of course, I've dated guys like short period of time, but I will always be friends with them first. And so I'm telling you, even if you're friends with them, even you date them all 4 seasons, it could still possibly go wrong. So the best thing to do, and I think for me, I was given the benefit of the doubt. Like when I would see the red flag in the beginning, in like that first year or that friendship, I would see, I would care for them as a friendship, so friend so much that I would give them the benefit of the doubt and think, oh, because we've built this friendship, they'll treat me different. No, 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 no. They don't. They don't. Like once they have that pattern, what like people are who they are. Whether you special or not, don't matter. If they want to treat you special, it's because they want to treat you special. It isn't because you're special. It's because that's what they want to do. So if they choose not to treat you special, it has nothing to do with whether or not you're actually special. It's still their choice at the end of the day. Sometimes some people are just shitty. That's just who they are. So sometimes, that's just how it is. Now, don't get it twisted. I've been shitty. Listen, I have been in relationships, right? Because I remember when I was younger, I was always taught that men ain't shit. That's what I was taught from the women in my family. Men ain't shit. I refuse to believe it, but I was just like, why do I keep hearing that? Why do I keep all men do is cheat? Men ain't shit. Don't be with them. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Right? That's what I was always taught, and I was just like, I can't believe that to be true. So at first, I used to play men. Like when I was in my teenage years, I used to want to be in a relationship with a guy, but I think maybe when I was 16, I got in a real relationship, and then I think I started cheating on him with another guy, and I was like juggling two guys. Like I did that in like when I was a teenager, but then when I met my daughter's father, and then I ended up cheating on him when I was like 18. After that, I never cheated again. I never like something. It was something about him. Like he was just special to me. But even though he was special to me, I didn't treat him like he was special to me. And once I realized that, oh, okay, when someone is special to you, you're supposed to treat them like that. Men still have not, that hasn't registered to a lot of men. Men don't pick up on that years. I'm talking about they get 40 and they're like, oh, I'm supposed to treat a woman that's special to me special? Oh shit, I didn't know. I didn't know. But I learned that shit at 18. Never did it again. Never cheated, never mistreated a man. So I've been shitty, but I was shitty as a child. Like I was shitty as a teenager. When I grew up, and anyone in that I grew up, it's just at 18, I realized that was just fucked up to do to him. So I didn't do it. I never did it again after that. I never treated a man bad after that. After that, it was just like, you know what? I'm just keeping a buck with them. And that's what I did. And I started being like this submissive, docile, nice ass woman. And they just start walking all over me. Like what just walking all over my ass. Abusing me, all types of shit. And then one day I just got fed up with it. And I just started like fighting them. I was mean as shit to men. Like I was like, fuck these niggas. And I just was mean. And I was like that for like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years. And then I got a little bit of balance and I started being like when I turned like 30, I started being a little, like better with them. But they still was acting funny. Like men act funny. They real funny dirty sometimes. But it's cool. It's cool. So anyway, I've been on here a long time. I gotta go, but it's been real. It's been real. make sure you thumbs up the live stream. I know it's for some reason YouTube. I I don't know. I would love for people on YouTube to be more supportive of me, but I think, you know how you just outgrow some spaces? Like I've outgrown Facebook, right? Even though I'm doing this live stream on Facebook, me and my daughter was talking earlier, and truly believes that I've been shadow banned on Facebook because it doesn't make any sense for me to have 5,000 friends and 5,000 followers in addition to those 5,000 friends. So that's 10,000 people. And then when I post something on Facebook, only 2 or 3 people see it or even like it. It's the same thing with my fan page. My fan page, right? I got like 3,000 people following my fan page. Okay? Out of those 3,000 people, maybe 14 to 15 people will see a post. I look at the insights and analytics of my posts, and they don't see it. So social media is not the way that it used to be, to where somebody could subscribe to my content and they just see my content because they're subscribed to my channel, or they, just like my content just naturally, and that's the reason why they subscribe. That's the way YouTube used to be built. MySpace was that way, Facebook was that way, but now this whole algorithm stuff is different. It's different. And honestly, I'm just a terrible YouTuber. Like I don't put as much I don't put as much energy into it as I used to. Like I used to put so much energy into it. So I'm gonna try, but it's just harder. So that's why I'm encouraging anybody who listens to me, like on YouTube or Facebook, please factor in following me on TikTok or Instagram. Now, the people that do support me on TikTok and Instagram, they have asked me to make a fan base account. So I made a fan base account. I do have my OnlyFans account for men who want premium content, exclusive content over there with like my sexy photos and stuff. But people are trying to encourage me to do fan base. Now that sound good. I mean, I'm gonna try it, but I don't know. Like how some people do Patreon. I never liked Patreon. I don't know why I didn't like it. I just didn't. Like it's a Patreon just isn't my thing. It just reminds me of like YouTube, and that's it. It makes me feel like I'm inside of a box, and the only way I can make money off of YouTube is via that. So I don't know. I just been trying to make sure that I have multiple sources of income, just not with YouTube, but as a content creator on a lot of different social media platforms. Thank you, Nicole. Like I was saying, you said you have truly grown, sis. I love it. You know what it is? Honestly, this is who I always been. You know what I was doing on YouTube for a long time, right? I would do what y'all wanted. Now I still do what people want me to do, but I don't do it the way that I was doing it before. Like I would entertain the drama because that's what y'all like. I don't do that no more. Now, if it's not positive, I don't want to do it. And now I'm a life coach. Now I'm who I always wanted to be. Before it was I want to be a life coach, or I want to talk about God, or I want to talk about wealth, or I want to talk about blah blah blah, but I can't because it doesn't get me the likes and the views. Because it wasn't like, if you go look at, I probably privatized a lot of it now on my YouTube channel, but it used to be so many metaphysical videos and God videos and videos about money, and they are the least popular videos on my channel. They're the least popular on my channel. Now I privatize a shit ton of videos. Like right now, it can't be no more than like what 200 videos up on my channel. I don't know, but I privatize a lot of my shit because it wasn't popular. Because I was talking about metaphysics. I did cooking tutorials. Those weren't popular. It was people watching them. Like it would get maybe 5,000 views, but it wasn't getting like 3 digit, like not 3 digit, 6 digit views. So what I did was I privatized any of my videos that didn't have at least 5 or 6 figures on it. You know what I mean? It had to be 5 or 6 views, and I left those up, but the rest of them I privatized. But I had cooking tutorials, metaphysical stuff, spiritual stuff, finance stuff, and it was the least watched on my channel. And so now I just put all that stuff to the forefront, and I don't care who doesn't like it. And I wish I would have done that before, because I just felt like what was getting me more attention was the trendy stuff, the drama stuff that y'all like to watch so much. It's like they love this stuff. But to me, that harmed my life. Like that harmed my life, like entertaining the drama. I ended up having to talk about things on social media that I didn't really want to talk about. Like, and so now it's just like, if it's not about helping somebody, being positive or improving somebody's life, I don't want to have nothing to do with it because I spent so many years entertaining that negativity that it just hurt me, you know? As far as the shadow ban shit, I don't know how I got shadow banned. I don't know. I think it could have been, you remember the whole me quote unquote committed suicide? The problem with that was that I let my social media managers control my social media from my phone, from everything. And so I think maybe that might have some type of, uh, maybe the type of reason, I mean, the reason why it's happened, because, I see that people like, here's my advice to everybody who wants to be a social media platform person. Please do not have social media managers that you do not trust. Don't have a whole bunch of moderators and admins and people who have access to your accounts or you giving everybody your password and shit like that. I made a big mistake because when I disappeared for 5 months, it should have been nothing posted to my social media platforms. But my moderators and stuff posted stuff and it just caused a problem. So my advice to anybody who is like trying to be like somebody on social media, please, oh my god, you can have a social media manager, but do not give them, let it be somebody like Hootsuite or damn Buffer or damn like an automated a bot, not a person. Because with a bot, you can tell the bot to do whatever. But if you trust a person to do it, they can do what they want to do. And that's one of the biggest problems that I had with my social media platforms. I let moderators and admins and all types of shit do stuff to my accounts. And I think a lot of that has to do with why I'm shadow banned in certain areas. I could be shadow banned on YouTube. Because for a long time, for some reason on YouTube, it was like I was being excessively trolled. I was like, sometimes once trolls get a hold of your accounts and stuff, that's it. You get put into like this dark part of the web. And so me clawing my way out of that was hard. Me clawing my way out of the negative part of YouTube was hard. And I think it's gonna take me another like year or two to claw myself out of it, or I can just delete the whole channel altogether and just create a whole new channel. But then I feel like trolls still gonna be following me on over there. So I just need more time to like all of the people that support me on other platforms to come here and create a more peaceful environment because the environments that I have like on TikTok and Instagram, they're a lot smoother. Like it's a lot more real people. It's not people trolling as much. It's people out there having conversations with each other. Of course, people will disagree with me and have negative stuff to say, but it's not trolling. It's just regular people. Like it is some trolling, but it's not as crazy as it is on YouTube. You know? Well, I don't know how many. It's not a lot of people in here. It's not. I don't get a lot of people. Like, okay, put it this way. Like, for example, Facebook, right? I only got one like, cause on Facebook I'm shadow banned. On YouTube, what the trolls do is they like to come thumbs down everything, and I think YouTube is about to make it to where there's no more thumbs down, or at least you can't like the crowd can't see thumbs down because I picked up about 5 or 6 years ago. I realized that people will thumbs down something that they like simply if they see other people thumbsing it down because people are like sheeple, they follow. So it could be a perfectly good video and it'll get thumbs down massively if another content creator who's a hater says, oh, go to this video, and they tell their community to go over to somebody else's video and thumbs it down. People have done that. I've never done that. I don't tell people to go to other people's platforms and thumb stuff down, but plenty of people have done that to me. A lot of trolls do that. A lot of trolls would have dislike like mobs and come and just dislike everything. And I think YouTube has picked up on that. And so they have decided to discontinue the dislike button. And YouTube was the only place that still had it. Because if you look on Instagram, the dislike button is not there. There's no dislike button. On Facebook, you might have an angry face or a sad face, something like that, but there's no, I don't know if there's thumbs down to where you can see it. I don't know. But yeah, so I don't get a lot of people. YouTube, the only reason why I think I could get a whole bunch of people to start watching me again on YouTube is if I start talking about that drama again. Or if I start talking about celebrity news. Because I notice YouTube is like people are talking, especially the black community, they're talking about the same shit they've been talking about. And to me, I'm bored with that. It's like, okay, how long are we gonna keep sitting here talking about the gender war amongst black people? How long are we going to sit here and talk about all of the issues black men and women have before it can be fixed? Like, has any of these conversations, the conversations that we have been having on YouTube, has it helped? Because from what I'm seeing, the conversations weren't solution based. And once somebody came in my comment section the other day and said, I wish you had more subscribers and viewers, especially I wish men were more supportive of you because you have solution based content. You tell people how to improve. You don't just trash people. And I think that might be a turnoff for a lot of people because a lot of people come on here to roast. So, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, that's boring. I don't want to talk about that. So I gotta go. I've been on here for a long time. I gotta go. I usually only do an hour. But thank you for being here. I appreciate everybody that's listening to it. And make sure that you share, please. And if you haven't checked out my book, Own the Opulence, please take the time to check it out because even though if you go into my Amazon reviews, you should see a lot of negative shit that a whole bunch of trolls from YouTube posted. And I saw one comment where a girl was like, it's poorly written. It's she's spelling everything wrong. I said I knew I shouldn't use Grammarly. I knew I shouldn't use Grammarly because I kept saying, "Who's gonna edit my book?" Like if I see here and I just type up whatever, because I made sure it was short and sweet. It's not a long book, and I did that on purpose. So I said, "Who wants to hear edit my book?" Because I ain't got time. And somebody said, "Use." It was my mother. She was like, "Use Grammarly." What? Grammarly still jacked me up. I thought Grammarly had my back. But Grammarly fuck my whole shit. It's still it's stuff spelled wrong, grammar all over the place, but it's still good. It's still good, trust me. It's still good. So instead of listening to some stuff some other people are saying in the Amazon review, check it out yourself and make sure you put your honest opinion. Even if you say something like, I can't stand this spelling. She did say the spelling was gonna be jacked, and she is right. Even if it's that, you can write that too. I don't care. It's okay. It's okay. But I do need y'all to be some more supportive of my book. A lot of people are asking me to go ahead and promote the second book, like write a second book. And I haven't even started the second book yet because I wanted to see what people are receptive to the first one. Yeah, I'm definitely going to write my second book, but I mean, I need the Amazon reviews. I need y'all to show me what you want to see and what would be a good book to you. And it has to be like a real review because the reviews help me. It helped me be a better writer, more entertaining, more interesting. But when I see only people just trying to be hateful and shit just because they just ain't got shit better to do or they jealous, or I can't work with that. Like I can't. What am I supposed to do with that? I need some really constructive criticism. I need you to write some shit like, listen, Sansray, this book, man. Listen, you could have did better with the first part, or you could have did such and such with the second, or you know what? Blech. Now, this one girl told me I'm good at hooking people. Like people binge read my book because in the beginning I'm talking about if you don't know the story of me and my son's father, I'm talking about that, and I'm talking about how I overcame that. And a lot of people who haven't looked at my YouTube channel or didn't see the videos that I used to have up, they can read my book and be like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. And honestly, again, it's 7 billion people on this planet. So a lot of people don't know my backstory. It was the people on TikTok that was like, please tell me what happened. They the ones that really pushed me to write the book. They was like, ma'am, I need to understand. So I wrote it. And now when that Amazon royalty check come in, I'll be like, oh yeah, oh yeah. I like that. I be dancing this shit because I love the royalty check. However, I always wanted to write another book. My first book, Unicorn Atlanta. I'm still trying to write that one over because it was hard. because I had to change the names of the people inside of the book. So I'm still working on Unicorn Atlanta, and that's about me becoming poly. A lot of people don't know how I became poly. A lot of people don't know how I ended up in the swingers lifestyle. A lot of people don't understand how I became bisexual. A lot of people don't understand, who provoked me to become that. And so I wanted to write about that and how the person who opened my eyes to it being different kinds of relationships, how that person helped me like open my eyes to it. And I was naming them in the book the first time. And I was like, you know what? This person is getting on my nerves. He was getting on my nerves. Like I was like, this dude, something wrong with him. I was like, he a little weirdo. So I might have to take him out and just try to figure out how to explain, how I ended up being polyamorous and bisexual inside of the swingers lifestyle in another way. And so I'm still working on that. So the link to my book is direct.me/Sansaray. Okay, you can check that out. Please go support my book. Follow me on Instagram at the real Sansaray. I got a new TikTok. My first TikTok was deleted. My second TikTok, for some reason, they locked me out of. So I had to start another one. And everybody's been giving me the nickname Big Sister Somo. They've been calling me Big Sister Somo. So that's my TikTok name, Big Sister Somo. You can find me there. My link, my is that it? Yeah, that's it. Oh, my Harmony desk. If you go into my community tab, you see I got this desk, this stand-up desk. It's called a Harmony desk. Oh my God, this shit works wonders. It's the best fucking desk I ever had. Like, I'm not just telling you this because they're my sponsor. I'm telling you this because this desk saved my life. Because a lot of times I'm in the car a lot and I'm sitting down. And when I come home, I don't want to sit at my desk because I've been sitting in my car. So my Harmony desk is a desk I use to stand up. It's a picture of my desk on my community tab. And if you go on my community tab, the link, what's the same link to get my book? It's direct.me/Sansaray. You can get 20% discount off of that desk if you put in the Sansaray 20 as the code. And those desks are expensive. Child, I think that desk was $291. Yeah, $291. But that shit worth it. Oh my God. Oh my God, I love that desk. Anyway, I gotta go. I've been out here too long. I gotta talk to y'all later. All right. Until next time, y'all. Bye.